Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Geek Bytes podcast. This is episode number 125. Thanks for showing up. We're glad to be here. Every single podcast, we bring you around the week's best Geek and Tech news. We discuss the news, of course, anything else we're interested in. I am Ramon Mejia. This guy is
Edgardo, Acosta.
That's it. That's two guys, two geeks talking about things. It's not the name of the show, although that is a good alternative. Two geeks.
Yeah, totally.
Would have been a great choice.
Exactly.
Oh, well. We branded.
Totally, why not? So in Geek News this week, we'll talk about, of course, D23. What else are we going to talk about? The Rock for President, if you haven't heard. The new Doctor Who. If you don't know by now, you'll know. You'll know. Ready Player One, Black Panther photos. Of course, tons of D23 news, movie trailer Showdown, and much, much more.
Absolutely, because we begin our show, though, with Geek News. Okay, our first story is tech. This is the tech part of the tech and geek stuff. There's only one story, don't worry about it. In a new study published in Nature, a group of scientists at Harvard has successfully stored a GIF. That's right, GIF, not GIF. If you're saying GIF, you're incorrect. Yes, which is like a moving meme into live bacteria. So what this means technically is that they're storing data, real, actual photographic data, moving pictures, in living objects, which is some scientists project that's how we'll actually be storing our data in the future because remember DNA, the things that tell your cells how to build stuff? Well, there's enough information there to fill up the Library of Congress. And so do the reverse of that, and you can store tons and tons of data inside very small, tiny packages. And even if they're larger portions of it, the amount of actual information you can store in these biological storage devices will dwarf anything we currently have. And so that is kind of the way that science is experimenting with curling, and this is kind of a cool example of that thing. So there you go. I geek out about that part.
Hey, no, totally. That's always been a question for me. Like, honestly, history. What is history?
People's stories that they've told and written down. I don't know what.
Pretty much a recorded moment of time. So, you're right.
Yeah, I don't know that it's necessarily recorded, but yeah.
Yeah, because it's something that you can actually go back and find out. Because honestly, anything before history is obviously something that has not been recorded. So things, I don't know where this story thing. Because honestly, things to me evolved with me when the first storage device, obviously when you went to school, was a computer was as big as this room. Then they shrunk it down. Then they shrunk it down. Then they shrunk it down.
I don't know if they're actually that old, but yeah.
But
I think when you were in school and when I was in school, they had green and black television or monitors.
The DOS screens.
They didn't have rooms full of computers, so I think that was very much a 70s and 80s kind of thing, or but 60s, 70s. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. That technology progressively gets smaller and smaller, and now biologically, you might get even teeny tiny, which means that at some point in the future, you may be storing information within your own biological systems, and then those cells replicating it so that it will not be destroyed over time.
Yeah, because think about it. How do you store a memory in the human mind?
No one actually knows.
Yeah, exactly.
So there you go. But they do think it's neurological process with electrons and things in your brain.
Exactly. And of course, the whole concept of this is just getting more into the sci-fi realm.
They have actually inserted memories into people's brains.
Yeah.
Very sci-fi television stuff. But they've inserted and cut out memories using electronic devices. No surgery necessary. So that is also a part of the science I think we're talking about.
Oh yeah, then we're getting totally into the movie realm. Then it's a la Matrix, where you could actually download a person's subconscious into a artificial intelligence computer.
That would be the sci-fi movie version of that. But these are actual scientific experiments that people have done. I mean, these are like small memories that scientists have inserted into like rodents and mice. So don't get all crazy about it.
No, it's not all Wolverine.
But there are people who with post-traumatic stress injuries who would benefit from having memories deleted if that's the trigger for their issues or for their pain and trauma.
Delete the trauma.
Deleting those memories could actually possible because they've done this with mice who have essentially, this is the short version of the experiment. Mice runs a maze. He learns how to do it. They did the experiment on the mice, and he forgets how to do that same exact maze. Like he's done it like 30, 40 times. He knows it down packed, and then they do the experiment, and that particular memory is no longer present in that mouse. On the opposite side is a mouse that has never done the maze They do experiment where they insert the memory, and suddenly he knows exactly where to go. So that is the other version of that particular experiment.
Totally. Yeah, because my thing was always, especially when it came down to physical storage of any kind of information.
Yep.
Like you said, the library is packed. It's literally packed to the walls. How more other way can you condense all that information other than putting them on hard drives? USB, terabyte kind of things.
Well, they went to microfiche, and then they go with digital information of it.
The
but
cloud.
Yeah, which is just all that stuff in a different place. I mean, it's the same digital information. Mm-hmm. It's just everyone access it almost like a timeshare, old timeshare's computer kind of thing.
The only thing that I'm afraid of, especially when then it's formatted to a biological format, it's just somebody just coming up with an alcohol swab and.
Yeah, it just kind of depends like them, but I mean at the same point, if you can store it, you can also encode it, encrypt it.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So if you're encrypting that information digitally or biologically, that's like someone trying to unpack all your DNA and understand what it is. I mean, it's been a super long time, and while that process is still going underway, science have mapped the human genome. They don't know exactly what all these genes do, and so that's a much larger project. And so that would be a part of that particular biological experimentation of storage of medium, like having to figure out all those different things. Because you are correct, and that is a perfectly valid question of how to protect information that's stored biologically. If it's easier to copy, prick somebody, get their blood sample than it is to go on their computer.
Exactly.
Yeah, there you go. But this also goes into like cyborg stuff, where you have the information on you, but you also have the machines inside of you to run the computer system, and then you're the computer. So cool stuff.
Oh yeah, man. Science.
Science. Now on to more less tech stuff, less geek stuff, but here we are with some cool, interesting stuff for the presidency.
I mean,
that's you. That's you.
All right. A strong, independent man that I could semi-relate to, that I have a lot of respect both in his work on film, on television, and of course in the ring, is The Rock. For those of you who don't know, we still don't know if former WWE champion Dwayne The Rock Johnson is actually serious about running for president. He brought up the idea during the main interview with GQ when he said, of course, he'd consider putting his name in the hat for the 2020 election. Whether or not he was just joking at the time, he then told Jimmy Fallon a few weeks later that he was intrigued. Okay,
yes.
Intrigued. Sorry. Some big words, Intrigued by the idea that he believes that he could be a relatable president of the United States needs, but 3.5 years is a long ways away.
Oh yeah, especially considering that you're not actually 3.5 years is when the next election is. He would have to start preparing for it now, basically.
True.
Yeah.
True. And although not much has been changed since then, it did not stop someone from filing the Run for the Rock 2020 campaign committee on Johnson's behalf for the Federal Election Commission on Sunday to make him eligible for the 2020 election. So his hat is literally in the ring, as they say.
Yeah, there's a bunch of paperwork and a bunch of things you have to do beforehand. But this would be one of the first steps that a candidate would have to take if they're actually going to do it in 3.5 years. Like I said, you have to start all this paperwork, all this campaigning now. Just to get people behind you. Because remember, in our particular electoral system, it's the parties that nominate their own candidates for presidency. So even if he decides to run, he would have to hook up with the particular party, which means getting a lot of support behind him, whether it's going to be Democrat, Republicans, or the Green Party, or whoever else is going to be. He actually has to get that support now, many years before he actually makes a bid for the presidency, because he has to get the nominations from the party first.
Yep.
So that's just time and effort. And personally, I would love to see The Rock as the president of the United States. I mean, if a reality star from NBC can do it, I'm like, why not this guy who people, I mean, the fact that he's brown, that might be an issue for some people, but, he's more likable. He is beloved in the South, which would be a huge thing as a wrestler. Yeah. Okay. The South loves wrestling, man.
Oh, that's true.
So even just as a wrestling star, at that in the back corner, plus a movie star, I don't see why he couldn't do it. I mean, the same thing with people like Will Smith has said the same thing. I could run for president and win, hands down. He hasn't put his
following.
So with this particular president we have currently, it certainly opens the door for more movie stars to do. I mean, the very first movie star president, of course, was Ronald Reagan, the cowboy star. So there is precedent, so I don't see why he couldn't do it.
So entertainers, they cannot be denied working in politics in one way. Right now, Al Franken, a comedian from Saturday Night Live. He's in the Senate.
Yeah, he's a senator, and he's a very entertaining senator, by the way.
Yeah, another quote unquote wrestler entertainer, Jesse the Body Ventura. He was governor of Minnesota.
Let's make a bid for the presidency is a big thing.
Yeah, the only one other people that I know, at least in the entertainment world, that's running for any kind of public office of some kind is last thing I heard was Kid Rock wanted to get involved in
and why not? I mean, again, if this is, I mean, this was projected as the way the world, the United States specifically was going to go since like the 70s and 80s with like post-dystopian fiction, and that they're like, oh, you were going to have to be like this movie star to get elected because the world is becoming more entertainment focused, and presidents can't just be people. They have to be good looking people because they have to be on camera. Remember that there's that scene in Back to the Future 1 where he's like looking at the camera like, oh, it makes sense why Ronald Reagan, the movie star actor, would be president because he has to be on film all the time. Right. And so that, even though there's a joke there, it very much is a part of politics, in that if you're an ugly dude, you have a much worse chance of becoming president than if a good-looking or decent-looking dude. Sure. You know what I mean? And that's just reality, because we're looking at our candidates instead of just judging them by their voices or their message, which was the case, 50, 60 years ago.
Both pros and cons real quick on it. Have you seen the movie Idiocracy?
I don't remember. Is that the Bill Maher movie?
Mike Judge.
No, then I don't.
It's the one where it's pretty much the dumbing down of the world, and our celebrities are becoming our political leaders.
Yeah.
So it's kind of leaning towards that, but hopefully, I'd rather have a smart, educated entertainer leading the country than some dumb guy in politics that has no idea how to actually relate to the people.
Yeah, and like I said, remember, people voted for whoever their candidate. They won, so that's the democratic system. Totally. So why not these other people who can be as popular as anybody else? I'm like, they can't do a worse job than any other president we've ever seen. There you go.
Currently.
Or in the past, plenty of presidents have made plenty of mistakes.
Sure, I know.
We're nonpartisan on this particular podcast. Yeah. But okay, moving on to our next story. We have Marvel Comics that was revealed the image of their upcoming character from Project H. For those who don't know, this was a teased shot of a creature inside of a glass tube with like green ooze around it. And on the side is a Project H, and it basically shows the Hulk with like an adamantium skeleton and like Wolverine's claws. And so the hypothesis was that this was going to be some creature mutation that's going to be a combination of Wolverine's DNA and the Hulk's DNA, which to me seems a little overkill considering they both have amazing healing factors. But they've actually shown the unit. They've shown the actual character, who kind of has Logan's face and his gray hair for some odd reason. Green, gray skin, a bunch of like holes sticking out of him. I'm assuming they're adamantium for some reason. But he also has, of course, the well-known
sneak
claws, coming out of his arms. And so this is the figure. If you can't, it's very interesting. I'll say it feels like a gimmick.
Yeah, it's pretty much what they like to call it, the mashups. When they get two different characters, let's mash them together and create this one new character.
But this is also like, both those characters are dead in the Marvel Universe.
Yeah.
Wolverine was killed by, I think it was Cyclops.
Was it?
Killed, cut off his head with a particular katana after he goes rogue.
Cyclops?
Pretty sure that's what it was. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I may be incorrect entirely.
I was going to say,
I know he is dead though.
In
that, I think it was one of the things that it was like one of remember. There was a series of comics that was like Logan's, like the last Wolverine comic books. I forget what it was called off the top of my head. I think it was Wolverine Origins.
Oh, yeah.
There was a series that was his beginning, and this was the end. And it included him taking care of like Draken and Wolverine killing Sabretooth and basically going on in bed at like killing people left and right. Like going into a real murder spree.
Yeah.
But it also was like, he's going rogue, and so he gave Cyclops the one weapon that could cut through his adamantium skeleton and behead him, which is the only way to kill a mutant like Wolverine. Yeah. And so eventually that happens at the end, and Wolverine dies in the Marvel Universe technically, although he is brought back time-wise with like this weird mashup where it's old man Logan, but that's a separate issue. And more recently, the Hulk was murdered, or more specifically, Bruce Banner was killed by Hawkeye in like this secret wars thing where some mutant had the power to see the future, and he saw the Hulk murdering everybody. They were killing everybody. And the superheroes got together to talk to Bruce Banner about it. And Hawkeye put an arrow through his head into his skull, killing him. with the one way that the Hulk can die, basically, whatever it was. Like Bruce had given it to him as like a backup. And Hawkeye's defense was like, I saw his eyes go green. You guys didn't, because Hawkeye has supervision.
He's coming right at me.
Yeah, and so he and while everybody's talking about whether to take Bruce Banner into custody for something he hasn't done yet, preventively, or to support him as a hero that's helped save the world many times and back him up and take his word that he has the Hulk under control. That was the argument, and Hawkeye settled it.
Yep. Now all these agents of Smash wearing these shirts that say Hulk Life Matters. So,
yeah, there you go. Hulk life matters.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's the story. And then of course somebody's doing some experiments on. So that's this thing.
Yeah. So I do you like it? Do you like it? The character?
I think it looks stupid. I mean, absolutely horrid.
Like I said, it's a mashup to me.
He's a hairy Hulk for one thing. I mean, I get that that's Logan's DNA poking out there somewhat, but he doesn't have the good haircut.
Yeah.
The spikes out of the back make no sense to me whatsoever. I mean, I don't know what they're for at this point. Yeah. Are they control rods? Are they just a part of the skeleton? It's like, because remember, the adamantium skeleton has to be surgically altered and the adamantium laid on top of it. It's not like they're growing adamantium on them.
Yeah.
So they intentionally had to put those spikes in there for some reason.
Exactly.
And then he's also intelligent enough to have a utility belt, which seems completely unnecessary to me for someone who's powerful as the Hulk, but also like Wolverine. And
I'm these big ass hands, but these little itty pockets.
Exactly. Like he's a very good point, by the way. He has huge hands that doesn't seem like he can use anything on that belt other than to like smash.
Yeah.
And if he's as small as Logan, he's not like dumb Hulk, but like smart Hulk, intelligence basically. Then what does he need these tools for anyways? He can get bigger tools or use his claws or whatever. So again, kind of a dumb looking character in my opinion. You feel free to disagree.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be, everybody's gonna wait and just watch and see what the plans. Okay,
like, do you think he's gonna be a hero or a villain?
Villain,
yeah, definitely a villain.
There's no way.
It feels very much like when they tried to do Cyber Thor with the first Civil War comic series, when that was the big guy at the very end, the big reveal, then ends up killing Captain America, I believe.
I think that's what's missing. To just give him the Cable / every other hero metal arm.
Yeah,
that
there you go.
The claws.
Who has metal everything else, metal skeleton. So
cyber arms.
Okay, on to our next story, which is very D23 oriented, but we'll get into more of that a little bit later. This is just kind of a thing because it's not actually movie related.
We're just tapping.
We're just tapping the tiniest bit, folks.
Yeah, give you a little, breadcrumbs. We'll feed you baby birds. Don't get me wrong, we'll get you there. But let's see. At D23, some of the costumes of the upcoming film Thor Ragnarok were revealed in a surprise reveal. Disney showed off a life-size statue of what Thanos will look like in the upcoming Avengers Infinity War film. So it's pretty much Thanos without the armor, if you will, just down to his kind of his basic, not skivvies underwear. But look, he doesn't have the helmet, he doesn't have the gauntlet, but, excuse me.
And this is a life-size sculpture, by the way.
Yeah.
In addition to, like, I think there's children in the second picture down here. There's also, he's with this 4 other...
Yeah, there's his, think of him as the equivalent to... Apocalypse, what do you call it? 4 Horsemen.
Yes, only they're actually his children.
Yeah.
So, and they're supposed to be his servants, and the same way that Gamora and What's-Her-Face was.
But my thing is always is this like biological or genetically altered, or I don't know.
Well, didn't he steal Gamora?
That's what I was wondering.
And her other kids, so they might just be orphans
adopted,
that he's stolen intentionally. I don't see him adopting.
Yeah, because
as much as kidnapping and raising as his own.
My thing is I would like to see what the mom looks like and just picture Thanos giving
like
it
maybe
to
that
her.
big guy on the far right might biologically be his.
I don't know.
But everyone else, I'm like, I don't see them. Maybe he's impotent, and that's his one weakness. He can't have kids, which is why he wants to rule the universe for forever.
Issues.
There you go. So we have, even villains have issues, man.
But yeah, they look good. I know they've been revealed in the comics. Sadly, with me, I'm not a big Thanos, not into the galactic world of comics. Don't know much about them. But they look equivalent to me as the 4 Horsemen of
Sure,
Thanos,
we'll call it the 4 Horsemen if you want. I don't know their actual name, but I think we said it last week. But I'm like, I don't know these guys. I'm sure they're going to be cool, though. Very scary, whatever. Yeah. But there's enough people in this movie already, in my opinion. I'm like,
think of them as the mini bosses before you had to get to the big boss.
Yeah,
which is Thanos.
And also we'll talk about it a little later. But there was a trailer for Avengers Infinity Wars at D23 that we'll be reading a description for you. the actual trailer hasn't leaked yet. I'm assuming it will at some point in the future.
Like I think I talked about it before. Disney was pretty tight when it came to those kind of reveals. If they were lucky, because when I went to for as an annual pass holder, we got to see an early release of 2 weeks, at least 2, maybe 3 weeks advance of Hulk, Dark World.
Oh, okay.
They literally.
You mean Thor?
Thor,
yeah. Like, I don't remember Hulk Dark World. That would be pretty cool, though.
Yeah. But Thor the Dark World, where they got the electronic things to make sure metal detectors, we didn't have phones on us because they made us turn them all in and everything to make sure nobody would spoil it that kind of way.
Yeah, okay. But still, I'm assuming it's going to be somewhere at the future very soon. I mean, some of the other trailers have already shown up officially from Disney, so this is not going to be a huge surprise. I'm pretty sure it's going to show before Thor Ragnarok, which is not... when is that coming out? It's not that far, though.
I want to say summer?
Yeah, I think it's going to be like a July, August. I mean, don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure it's going to... I think it's July. You can look it up.
Late July, maybe August, maybe.
Okay, next story, though, moving into the Whovian universe. Just today, they revealed who the new 13th Doctor is going to be, and it's officially confirmed as Broadchurch's Jodie Whittaker. We've talked about this before. Peter Capaldi is leaving the series, as is showrunner Stephen Moffat. They're moving on to other things. I'm not sure if this is the shortest run that a Doctor has had, but it may be. And quick shout out to Yolanda Ontiveros. Jello, how are you today? There we go. But yeah, the 13th Doctor is going to be a lady Doctor. So there you go. And the internet loves it and hates it simultaneously. So it's very much like the internet.
Yeah, unless you're gender biased or whatnot, it's going to... everybody wanted a girl. At least the majority of the people that I talk to.
Yes, but you have a very specific group of people that you talk to. Not so it's November the 3rd, the Thor Ragnarok's coming out. Okay, so a little longer. It's more towards Thanksgiving than summer, unfortunately.
November.
Yeah, November the 3rd. Yeah.
Okay. So,
but yeah,
before Turkey Day.
Female Doctor. I'm okay with it personally. The precedent had been set, and you can see it. The setup in retrospect with 2 seasons ago, there was a Time Lord who changed from a big white guy to a female black lady. And last season it was Missy was the bad guy, but she turned out to be not a reincarnation, but a regeneration of the Master, who was a pasty white dude, who actually shows up in the very last episode of this season. So if you haven't seen it, it's a little spoilery, but 2 bad guys who are actually the same person, just different regenerations, show up at the same time. So there you go. And so you can tell they were kind of setting up for kind of testing the water, see, is the community cool with gender swapping these Time Lords? And the answer was basically yes, because everyone loved Missy. I mean, loved to hate her kind of thing. And this time it's a female Doctor, and I'm looking forward to seeing what she brings that's going to be different.
Well, my thing is, obviously, I've seen the show, but I'm not obviously a diehard fan, but I do have my own questions on it, because it's... to me, obviously, physical form, it's a female. Will she still be acknowledging herself as a man? And what the hell?
No, she's going to be a woman. I mean...
No, but...
Yeah.
Acknowledges it, because obviously it's been men for those past billion years.
So?
No, but I'm wondering if it's going to have what do you call it? Gender identity issue. It's not
a dude in a woman's body. She's actually a woman. Mm-hmm. It's not like she got plastic surgery.
No.
Every single Doctor, there's that first episode where this is a new body. Everything about them literally changes, all their tastes, the things that they liked in their past lives. But they don't like the same things anymore. Okay. I mean, including foods, personalities, vision. I mean, this particular Doctor can play the guitar, the last one couldn't. Literally everything changes about them. So it's just not a carried over memory base of this is me. It's not like the mind's put in someone else's body. Everything about them changes. Okay. And so that's just part of the process. That's the Doctor thing. Yeah.
Okay. That's why I was wondering, because I wasn't sure so if it's the subconscious of a male, but just continues on and just changes physical form.
Nope. Okay. It's not. I mean, it'll be a woman inside of a woman's body.
So what do you think? Early predictions. Love interest. A man?
Well, the Doctor's the Doctor's really only had one love interest, and that was be his wife. Yeah. Who was a reverse. She aged in reverse, and it was reverse song. It was season, I think 5 or 6, whatever. And that's the only person that he's ever, that I know of, been in a relationship to, and he got married to her. Mm-hmm. So I don't know that he or she at this point is going to change relationships. Maybe. It would be a new spin on the Doctor, though. Mm-hmm. But it very much has not been romance.
Exactly. And
considering that he lives forever and they don't.
exactly. And the other prediction, male or female companion?
Both. I'm gonna go with both.
Like 2 people?
Yeah, he's done it before.
Oh, okay. 2
I mean,
companions.
this Doctor, Doctor 12 and Doctor 11 both had a male and a female companion.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, that's just like, oh, everybody gets that option to see them there. So I'm like, okay, there you go. That's cool.
I want to see. I don't care if it's a male or female. I want to see a very stereotypical, really bad English, broken English speaking Asian companion.
Broken English speaking typical Asian companion.
Yeah, like all the, you know how the really bad speaking ones where they pronounce all the L's as R's and all the R's as L's. Instead of saying hello, they go hero.
So you just want someone who's Asian who...
Very bad stereotype.
Okay, so that's...
A very bad stereotype.
That could be a thing, I guess.
Right.
Sure. Okay. On to our next story, though.
Let's see if anybody gets offended.
Moving into the cast of the New Warriors, folks. This is a television series based on a comic book. And here is the cast. We have Matthew Moy as Microbe, Jeremy Tardy as Night Thrasher, Derek Theller as Mr. Immortal, Callum Worthy, come on, Speedball, get a real name, buddy. Callum. I'm going to say Callum.
Callum? I'm going with Callum.
I'm calling him Callum just because he deserves for people to make fun of his name. Then we have Debris, is being played by Kate Gomer. Debris. Maybe it's like supposed to be like debris, like the things you have, but it's like spelled differently. Yeah. And then of course Squirrel Girl.
Everybody's favorite that they want to see what they were going to do with.
Yeah. Is being played by Milana Vaintrub. So there you go.
Okay.
I have no idea who any of these people are. I've never seen any of them, I think, at any point, which is fine because this is a young person show. So there should be younger people that, old guys like us probably don't recognize. So there you go.
Get a chance for these new child stars to break out. This is the breakout role for them. You're going to get obviously good looking kids on there. Got to sell the series one way or another. This is
very teeny, I think.
Yeah, you're not going to get generic, gross looking kids. You're going to get some, you need to sell this. So obviously you're going to have some pretty boys and girls on there. Yeah, I'm gonna see what it's gonna take out. It's not the original New Warriors that I'm used to from reading the comic books, but I want to see their take on it and see, especially how they're gonna be related into the Marvel universe. Either if they're gonna have any connection to the cinematic universe, the comic, of course. I don't know what their world is gonna be in.
I'm curious if they're gonna be already established as a team or if it's gonna be part of the series' origin story stuff.
Together,
yeah, because there's also this isn't the only X-Men related. Marvel's series coming out. There's also an X-Men one where it's something like the Gen Xers, and there's still like a few New Mutants basically in there as well. So I'm not sure how they're going to mix.
Yeah, I'll definitely give it a shot. What's it called? Cloak and Dagger? Is that still happening?
Yep, Cloak and Dagger is a third one, but that one is very teen romance oriented. I think it's on some girly name channel on cable. I don't remember what it's called. It's like an Ion or something.
ABC,
I don't remember.
But it changed a bunch of ways. I don't know.
Freeform? That's it. It is Freeform. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, good call.
Yeah. So, like I said, put out a teaser trailer. Obviously, they just got the cast together.
Yeah, there you go.
So if anything,
casting is just that. But I'm looking forward to see what they do with Squirrel. Everybody else, I have no idea who they are or what they do. Basically, I mean, I'm sure you could look it up. But it's like, Squirrel Girl is basically the draw.
Oh yeah.
And so I'm curious to see how that works out.
Well, obviously, D23 is happening right now, so I really doubt they'll have anything on there. But there is obviously Comic-Con happening next week. So maybe they'll just put a teaser, even if it's just, new Warriors.
This does explain why they're not doing anything with, like, Thor Ragnarok at Comic-Con. Because they're showing it here, and they're showing Infinity stuff at D23 instead. Because that's something that Disney owns and they can control.
Oh, of course, and if they want to share,
if they showed it at Comic-Con, it would leak the next day. That hour probably.
That's true. Yeah. They don't got that kind of security at those kind of events.
Okay, next story. More. We have a ton of comic stuff. We got to move on. So next comic story, that's you.
It's the hashtag show revealed. Oh well, we're pretty much talking the Flash.
Yes, Flash television show. We got a new hero coming in who's going to be a series regular, and it is.
The hashtag show revealed that this week that Ralph Dibny.
Sure.
Dibny, the elongated man, is joining the Flash on the upcoming 4th season of the show, with possibility of returning for a season 5.
Yep. So this is a new hero, and this is one again the very few opportunities that the CW DC universe is getting an opportunity to grab some regular DC comic book heroes.
Yeah.
It kind of made sense that you left them all the speedsters and all the Flash villains, of course. But then they started doing crossovers with Green Arrow and with Supergirl, and that was a huge ratings boom. Yeah, and Supergirl came to the Flash universe. She's technically in another like parallel universe, but she ported over a couple times, and he ported his, and big ratings, so everybody's happy. So it makes sense that they would try to draw on some lesser known superheroes that aren't going to upstage to Flash, but also aren't as or equally or not as powerful as him.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And Elongated Man is definitely one of the rubber stretchy guys that you're like, oh, I guess I can guess his power by his name, but he's definitely not Mr. Fantastic. So he's not going to upstage the Flash.
No. It's going to be interesting. I want to check that out. Obviously, there's going to be all these stretchy jokes, adult innuendos. If you're like, everything about me gets long and big and wide and girthy.
And flat and rubbery.
Yeah,
there you go.
And short and tight when it gets really cold. But anyways, anybody in the DC universe that you think that's not a mainstream character you would like to see?
Not a mainstream character? If they're not a mainstream character, I probably don't know them.
Well, my thing is, okay, you ever watch the cartoon series Justice League Unlimited?
Yeah, where they have like a million Justice League characters from different parts of the world.
Anybody on there that for a fact hasn't been introduced, would you like to see on there?
I would like to see Guy Gardner.
Guy
Gardner, Green Lantern would be a cool pull because he's the least liked of the Green Lanterns from Earth, anyways.
With me, obviously, the guy that has practically no powers, to me, the concept is kind of cool.
Booster Gold?
No, actually, I was going to go with the Question.
Oh,
real simple.
He's Batman.
A no-face guy.
Yeah. He with the question mark, and he's a detective, and he looks like he has the fedora and the jacket, right?
Yeah, very stereotypical like 50s detective guy, but literally no face.
Yeah, he's basically a cheap Batman. He's lower class Batman. He's the detective,
no money.
But he doesn't have the money for the toys. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd like to see him. Of course, I've been watching. I got hooked, so I'm watching all the Flash. I'm watching all that.
Yeah, season 3 is the last one. Yeah. You're up to date with season 3. That just ended this last year.
Yeah. So I'm watching that right now. I haven't finished it, but yeah, I've got pretty far in it. I love seeing. I'm watching what do you call that? Legends of Tomorrow. So I love seeing Stargirl. So I've seen those comic books.
Yeah, I stopped out of that one like after season 1. I'm like, oh, okay, this is fine.
It's one of those, to me, honestly, just have it play in the background.
It's okay. It's not as entertaining as The Flash to me. It feels a little more Monster of the Weekish, and there's less of a big plot line. And even if there is a big plot line, it's time travel, so it kind of runs in on itself sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
And that's cool, but it's also very story-wise, it's complicated and unnecessarily so. There's no like, oh, this is the villain we have to beat for the semester for the year, and this is all our effort, and there's emotion, and like, no, it's less entertaining to me. But I mean, it's not bad. It's just, I dropped out.
Yeah. The only thing is, because I guess they're doing it intentionally, they notice when they do crossovers, it makes you want to watch that episode. Because I was watching, what was I watching? Arrow, and it says, "We'll continue in Flash," or "We'll continue in."
They had a couple
Legends of
episodes.
Tomorrow. And I was like, damn it! So then I didn't know which specific episode, so I literally had to watch it from the very beginning to like.
Or you could read the descriptions.
That's true, but
or look at that same time slot, episode number, whatever. That would probably match up at the same time as the episode for. I'm just saying.
You have to do your homework if you want to.
Or the internet, the magical question fairy. Plenty of choices there, man.
What order should I watch these in?
What episode is the crossover with Flash?
Exactly.
There you go.
Yeah, but I'm liking it so far, even though obviously I'm not a huge DC fan, but I love comics, so I'm going to watch it either way.
Yep, there you go. So that's all you got to do. I mean, Green Arrow definitely set off the stage, and they're pulling in more Green Arrow stuff and villains from other series, including like Deathstroke. But I think the Flash is still the most fun. Supergirl's cool. Not great for me. Like occasionally I'll catch an episode and it's like, oh, that's decent. I like the Kevin Smith episodes he directed with her on that series, and the ones he did for Flash. But the Flash as a whole, to me, is just more entertaining. It's more earnest. It's very much that good character who also has these bad decisions. And maybe it's just because he's a dude. I relate to him more as a character than I do Supergirl or the people from Legends of Tomorrow. And Legends of Tomorrow very much has a much bigger cast to handle than just the Flash, which is just one dude basically who you have to worry about and his storyline. And same thing kind of with Era, that their casts are a little too big for me, and that their storylines go from person to person occasionally.
Who should I really care about?
Yeah. Who's dying?
Exactly. But I definitely want to check it out, see where it's gonna go. But
Yeah, this is season 4 and 5 stuff.
So once again, my personal pick in the DC universe that they haven't really done in live action.
The Question. Yeah,
And
there we go.
You said
Guy Gardner, Green Lantern.
Okay.
I think it would be cool to enter the Green Lantern. I don't know if anybody has the rights to him, so
yeah, because
that's always the real question. Like, who owns this character? Can we put him in our show?
We'll love anybody from Gotham, but that's going to be a whole different thing.
Yeah, that's Fox, and that's a different than DC, and there you go.
Which I'll let you tell.
Yeah, so there you go. Okay, next in 2 is Batman. We have just a brief thing. This is very minor stuff, but basically, they're starting over on the new Batman standalone film, which is The Batman. They had Ben Affleck as the director. He dropped out because basically he couldn't handle the pressure from the internet. Yeah, poor man. They want to give you more money and creative control. Boo-hoo. But he was basically scared he was going to screw it up. Which
I can understand the
which
pressure.
would not be the first time that he's feared that. I mean, being
like
a director,
marriage.
being I mean, when he did Jersey Girl with Kevin Smith and that blew up, that tanked his career
That's
for
not his fault.
quite a few years.
Whatever.
I'm just saying that the man has the fear of like just ruining a thing that they love, and he's definitely said before he would love to be in these comic movies because he's a huge comic book fan apparently from a very long time. He was in Mallrats, remember?
Yeah.
And he loved doing the comic book stuff. Kevin Smith said before they talked about like, oh, if you could do like any comic book, he's like, that would definitely be Batman, you know. And so when he actually got the gig, he put his heart and soul into it. So I get his feel like not wanting to ruin something that you and the world loves. So I get that. I get why he dropped out as a director, but he also wrote the script for the movie. And since they got a new director, the new director's like, no.
Fuck this script.
Yeah, basically. And the new director is rewriting the entire script. And from what the internet and small snippets of interviews said, they're going for the detective noir kind of Batman. So I don't know what the Ben Affleck Batman script was going to be. Hopefully it leaks to the internet at some point. But I don't mind a detective Batman instead of just him killing and beating people up and shooting him, which is always against my impression of who Batman is. Be a detective for once. Actually solve a mystery. Use that money. I mean, there you go.
There was a rumor of I think they were going to go the animated series wise, but they wanted to do the Gaslight Batman storyline, which that's totally detective style. But if they go animated, they don't have to worry about it. Cause of course Ben Affleck doesn't have to do anything he doesn't want to. He's like, fuck it, I got a big dick. I can do whatever the fuck I want. So it's his call on whatever he wants to do.
Yeah, no, he's signed in for it. So I mean, he's going to drop out of the actually being Batman. He's still Batman.
No, yeah.
It's just he's not directing, and they're not using the script, and they've already paid him for both. So, he's not losing out on that money.
The check has been cashed.
Yeah,
good.
The check for that script has been cashed. So I'm sure he's fine with it.
I'll be your little bat monkey. I don't care. Whatever.
Oh no, right. He's made plenty of things. Okay, next story, entertainment news. Drop some pictures for Ready Player One. This is some promo stuff that they put out there. The internet loved it. If you don't know the story of Ready Player One, it's set in a dystopian future where the world basically sucks, like the world. And everybody logs into this virtual reality game called the Oasis, developed by a super smart guy. And what he did basically was that when he died, he's leaving all of his shares of his company, which is worth trillions and millions of dollars, to whoever can find and solve like an Easter egg puzzle within this massive online universe. And I'm talking like bigger than our galaxy universe, where like each planet is its own kind of game world. Like one is a Blade Runner theme world, one is a Zork theme world, one is a world where you can basically play through your favorite movies as that character. A ton of stuff there, a ton of pop culture references, really 80s nostalgic, fun kind of stuff, because that's when the game creator grew up. But this and everybody and all the poor people basically live in trailers. Like trailers stacked on top of each other. Like this is poor people central, basically. And so this is our main character, apparently Wade Wilson, who is in a trailer using a virtual reality system, like a treadmill, goggles, glasses kind of thing. And it partially, it's not too far in the future for our purposes of virtual reality. But at the same point, it's still the future. And so people were kind of geeking out about all these different kinds of tech for virtual reality, because this is a beloved book by science geeks around the world. And there's some concept art as well. So that's it.
Yeah, especially the concept art. It looks like it reminds me. I don't know if you ever played or seen those Find It kind of things. Like it's almost like the equivalent to Where's Waldo. Because I'm seeing.
I thought you were gonna say it's like that THX commercial where it's like boom and he's like floating backwards from his chair.
Oh, the Maxwell thing. Yeah. No, because I'm looking at it as soon as I had to not walk up. obviously put my face into it. I'm seeing the Star Wars poster, which for licensing purposes, I was like, okay. I see the Goonies, those are the big obvious one. I see the game consoles, I see other things. I can't tell, but I think that I see a Virtual Boy right next to him in the picture where he's sitting. It's like right next to the bowl.
Yeah. No, there's a ton. Like I said, anything from the 80s was a part of this pop culture referencing novel. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, music, Meatloaf. I mean, anything in the 80s that this... Because he made that part of the contest. Yeah. Essentially, that part of the game designer's thought was that he wants people to like him and the world that he grew up in, and he's great, kind of, super smart guy, of course. But part of the things that he loved about his life was his childhood, which was in the 80s, and so all those pop culture stuff became part of this game world and part of the contest, and so everybody who was serious about learning about and getting the money, which is literally trillions of dollars, immersed themselves in 80s culture, and it became over the next 20 years, which is when our game characters come in, which is supposed to be teenagers. They have grown up with the same obsession with 1980s culture, and so when you see those things in the background, it's like, oh, that's the main character becoming as obsessed with these things as the game designer was when he was a kid, basically. And so inside that book, inside the actual novel, there are references like Tron and Voltron. I mean, literally at one point towards the end, they get virtual versions of their favorite mechas, including Voltron, including Mechagodzilla, including Spider-Man, like the robotic Spider-Man version.
I remember that.
And so I mean, there's a bunch of others, but almost any fun thing from the 80s you can think of is probably in this novel. And so, I mean, just the licensing right alone to get any of those on a film screen is a nightmare. And so I'm curious to see what they actually get.
Yeah, so if anything, check it out, read it. What do you call it? Book on tape or audiobook, if you will.
Yeah, no, it's a quality book.
Yeah, so
it's definitely fun. If you grew up in the 80s at all, you're going to enjoy this. If nothing else than a nostalgia film, but it's also virtual reality entertainment stuff that is very much a possibility in our modern world. And
we're literally living it right now.
Yep, it's possible to put on some goggles and jump into virtual reality.
Exactly.
There you go. Okay, next story. This is another quick announcement. Just a quick look at what the Wasp's costume is going to be in Ant-Man and the Wasp. That's it.
It's shown at the banner.
Yep, that was the only hint they gave you. They didn't show the actual costume, but it was a news story, so there you go. Next, Wonder Woman. There you go with that one.
I'm going down.
He's going down.
Exactly. While the movie is still in script development, rumors have it that Wonder Woman 2 will be an Amazonian princess fighting in the Cold War against the Soviet Union in the 1980s.
There you go.
So speaking of 80s,
so they're jumping from World War I to the Cold War. They're skipping They're skipping World War II, all the controversial ones, Vietnam, Korea, everything.
All the American ones, But it's going to be interesting. The whole thing, obviously, what's the whole concept? She just doesn't age. She ages a lot slower.
She's a god.
No, but that's...
So she doesn't have to age.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. And that's all they have to explain. She's part goddess, so she doesn't age. Mm-hmm. I mean, she mentally ages and she gains experiences and all that good stuff. But
obviously she was a little girl. It wasn't like she was just a little
No,
girl.
She stopped at some point. And just like the rest of the Amazonian women, they stopped aging.
Yeah, like my tits came out. We're good.
Yep, pretty much.
All right, so I'm gonna check it out. What do you think? Do you think in this episode, but in this
episode of Wonder Woman,
exactly, or especially because it being 80s and hopefully it's bad 80s, will we see invisible jets?
Well, no, I don't know if she can fly actually. Well, she jumps high. I know the Wonder Woman in the comics flies now. She doesn't actually use an invisible jet anymore. I think she has one somewhere. But she doesn't use it unless she's transporting Batman somewhere. Because he doesn't have he can't fly. Yeah. So, there you go.
I still want to see invisible.
It would just look like her flying still. Sitting down.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they can make a joke about it. There are rumors that there is going to be a Linda Carter guest appearance cameo.
Hopefully. Honestly, she should have been in the first one.
Well, no, I think she fits better in number 2. Because it is set in the 80s. Which was when Wonder Woman would have came out. And so either being a Soviet Union member or a member of the Secret Service or whatever, I think it makes more sense in the 80s.
I would have put her at least somehow like in a flashback as her being at least maybe one of the generals, the Amazonian generals.
No, I don't think she's in shape enough for that.
Well, I mean, physically seen her, so I don't know what
No, she's not bad anything at looking at all, or she's not out of shape. Mm-hmm. But the women who are in as Amazonians, they are super toned and ready. They're muscled up.
Tight.
Yeah. I'm not saying that she couldn't have like muscled up to do it, but it would have also been a distraction from this Wonder Woman.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like her showing up as the kid, and then look, it's the older woman as well. It would have been a serious distraction for the storyline, I think. So, but by showing her as a cameo, like number 2, like Stan Lee version, I think that's cool. I mean, she's established herself as being Wonder Woman now. Gal Gadot.
I would like to see, and this be kind of like, of course, joke wise, is they do the dressing room scene again and whatnot, and you see sparkling blue panties with white stars on them, and her lifting up a dress and whatnot, and she turns around and it's Linda Carter.
Yeah, that could have. I could like that outtake.
Exactly.
Yeah, that could have been funny. Yeah, might be part of the movie when it comes out on DVD. Remember to grab that, folks, or Blu-ray. Okay, on to more stuff. We have a ton of stuff. I'm serious. Like, but there's a lot of things here.
D23, man.
Yeah. Pictures of the Black Panther were also in Entertainment Weekly this week. Shows him, the cast, the bad guys, his family. You see some of their weapons. Really cool stuff. Go check it out on the internet. We'll have it in the video version of this if you want to look at it, and I can show you right now, actually.
Yeah.
If you want to live stream it to the internet. Black Panther, his family. Then we have like it's basically the battle scene when like the conflict between the two kings.
Is when they do the challenge.
It's the traditional, yeah. That's what it's going to be.
Mm-hmm. And it looks awesome. Like I said, I can't wait for it. They stick as much to semi-African tradition that you see by the
they pull through a lot of like visual stuff as well.
Exactly, by the clothes, by the weapons, by everything.
Yep.
He kind of honestly
like the physical scarification, all the stuff.
No, my thing is because he looks very Power Ranger-esque just because
he's
he's
the
holding
Black Panther.
Black Panther, just because he's holding his helmet on the side.
But then we also see a picture towards the end of Ape Man, who's not called Ape Man, thankfully, in this particular version of the film. It is going to be called M'Baku. M'Baku. It's apostrophe BAKU.
Oh yeah.
Because we're not racist anymore, and we don't call black people apes in the comics anymore, I guess.
Maybe you don't. Yeah. I mean, no.
So there you go. So they are changing the name of the character, and he's also not like a part animal in the comic in this movie either. So like, that does change it as well.
Borderline, almost mutant-like, because he looked like an ape. Had a whole headdress and everything. Maybe
I don't remember his origin story, but I remember him being specific, like, oh, he's half ape, half man, or something. Yeah. And it's a play on the animal spirit thing of like the Black Panther. Yeah. Oh, this guy's another jungle creature, the ape man. Which is the thing that writers got lazy doing.
I know that was updated, especially with Marvel movies, like compared to like the first Iron Man costume, if you will, the armor, and has evolved like the mock whatever. It looks like they've done that same thing to the Black Panther, because there's way more detail on it, or maybe we just never got to see that.
You never got the close up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh man,
it was in his film.
Exactly. The artwork on it, you can see the semi-traditional African tribe designs on it.
You see a lot more iconography in there.
Oh yeah,
it's very detailed.
Yeah, I just can't.
It's a good look.
I just wonder if in his
I don't know how good you're going to see it in the film, but like these stills definitely show it off.
Do you think his helmet's very?
I think it's Iron Man-ish.
Yeah, I was going to say kind of.
I think it's more advanced than Iron Man actually. Because remember, this country has the most advanced technology in the world, including more than Tony Stark.
And we did, both of us, spoilers for you guys that haven't seen it, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So when he has, obviously dons the helmet/mask, it's
and remember his entire costume is made out of vibranium.
Yeah.
So it's more powerful technically than Iron Man suit.
Yeah. But do you think he's used the same thing as
yeah,
scans of people?
Yeah, like UI stuff. Yeah. I mean, why not? I mean, it's a technically country. I don't know that it's as like tech oriented as like Iron Man's, like where it's a bunch of like UI everywhere. Yeah. But I don't doubt that there are scans and technology in there that allow him a more advanced information processing. Like, oh, he can call up a scan for whatever, or like it's automatically thermographically overlaid, or who knows? I'm sure they're going to try to be original. I don't think that there's a Jarvis in there though.
Oh yeah, because my thing with the at least the Black Panther costume, it's been very simple. It kept very primal. The only thing you got really is the claws. Yep. He's in the comic books. He's thrown spears of some types.
Spears and like throwing knives made of vibranium.
Yeah. Or like little even projectiles of some kind. But I don't know if there's anything more tricks to the costume. I really doubt he's gonna like
it's definitely
take off the necklace and become a whip or anything like that.
I don't think that's part of his gear. I think part of this culture is that it's the man that's the weapon.
It's true.
And the costume is simply an enhancement to that skill.
Totally.
But it's definitely the human training element that is the important part. Like, he would still be the Black Panther without the costume.
Yeah.
Like, he would basically be as powerful as Batman is as far as like combat training goes. But with the costume on, with the actual armor, he's enhanced to the level of one of these superheroes. In his ability to hurt them in that way, especially with like the enhanced weaponry like vibranium claws or whatever. But it's the man who's intelligent, who's rich, who has the resources of an entire advanced civilization behind him that is the big threat. It's not just the costume. The costume is simply one tool, and it's part of the figure of judgment in that culture. It's not
extension of
him being a superhero. Yeah, it's part of his role as king to also be the spirit. I'm almost a spirit of vengeance, but that spirit of combat and protector.
Exactly.
That's what I think, anyways.
Well
Sorry.
spoken, sir. Well spoken. Well spoken.
Okay, on to some D3 announcements. We have a lot of the stuff.
More.
D23 galore, folks. This is like the D23 episode, where we're going to begin with just some hotel stuff. I mean, it sounds boring, except when you consider that Disney has decided to create a Star Wars themed hotel, and it's supposed to be super immersive. I mean, the artwork alone is giving me a Star Wars chubby. I mean, seriously, this stuff is like, they're going whole hog in the immersion. I mean, they want you to feel like you're actually on a different planet. You can buy groceries. You can, at the hotel, go through, a galactic boardroom, basically. Your actual hotel room has a view of, like, a space world, like as if you're off planet or something. And, I mean, everything, all the rooms, bunk beds in there, whatever it is, all definitely themed towards the Star Wars universe. And the counter art alone is totally cool. And I would actually consider staying there, even if it cost me like thousands of dollars, because this would be such a cool experience just within that hotel.
Yeah, this is going to be your literal living opportunity to live in the play world life-size scale. You know, before you would have your little action figures play in a little play set, you yourself will be that action figure and actually be immersed in the world, not just in an amusement park style. It looked really good. There was teasers before where some fans were wondering how come when they do little surveys, they're asking, would you be interested in staying in a Star Wars themed blah, blah, blah? Like, would that, get your attention? And all that people are like, hell yeah. And so they definitely took that into mind. So to see how that's going to evolve, that's going to be great.
No, it looks cool. I mean, they're starting on it now. It's not going to be out until, I don't know, several years from now. They're just breaking ground at this point. And that's in addition to the other Star Wars land stuff they had, where they're actually building the park, which is its own individual theme park in Orlando, Florida. That's going to be Star Wars stuff, which is something we're going to show you in a little bit anyways. But it's also another thing that they're doing.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, that's cool. But we have a ton of other things to look at. So including those hotels, we also have other hotels. Okay. These ones are also themed Guardians of the Galaxy and also Ratatouille. So they're going to have these other additional portions of the park. They're actually going to change the Epcot Center in Disney World, which is that big little part, I believe. The big giant globe that you see of Disney World. They're going to change that. Part of it's going to be Guardians of the Galaxy, and part of it's going to be look like Paris and Ratatouille themed.
Pretty much the whole thing is that Epcot is really Epcot. Epcot. Yeah. Epcot,
we know what he's thinking of sucking on.
It's pretty much the World's Fair, so a little bit of every country is being represented. But now they're realizing that, you know what? Nobody just wants to go hang out in Germany just because it's Germany. No, people want to, actually.
People come from around the world not to go to other countries. They come to the Disney World
to experience the Disney thing. So of course, with Ratatouille being related to France, of course they're going to change France to the Ratatouille. I'm hearing also so
instead of being international, they're being intergalactic.
There you go.
Yeah.
They've been changing some things. Also, they've been closing down some rides that nobody pretty much rides anymore. Unless you're a nostalgia buff, you want to go there, take advantage of them right now because they will be gone. Here's one of the old MGM rides called the movie ride, which is pretty much a history of a film, but it's going to be changed to a Mickey Mouse themed ride,
which seems more appropriate for Disney World.
Exactly. So, like I said, things are just evolving and changing, and honestly, it's for the better. Like I said, unless you're that kind of buff, you're gonna love all these changes, the way to add to evolve with the times. Of course, you got the Star Wars land and everything else coming up.
Now they're also actually changing Disneyland Park. They're going to do, in addition to California Adventures, they're going to add a Guardians of the Galaxy themes section. Actually, going to be a Marvel section as well. An entire Marvel section. They've already done the Guardians of the Galaxy redo of the Tower of Terror. I don't think the ride itself changed. It's just like the stuff around it. Have you been on it?
Well, it's still an elevator ride.
Yeah,
It goes up and down and all that, but the whole environment is
different. Yeah. So it's a Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy thing, which is fine. But they're also going to expand, change part of, or add to California Adventures and make it more Marvel centered, which to me seems better because you're in California. Why do I need to go to a land of California? I mean, that didn't make sense to me when they opened it, but having it Marvel themed specifically or Star Wars land themed, that totally makes sense since those are big money makers.
Yeah, well, that was the thing, especially when California Adventure first opened up. I'm like, what would you want to make a theme park of California in California?
Like, I can travel up to the mountains for an hour, and it's cheaper than spending my whole day here. I can, go to the beach to the west, like an hour, and there's the whole water. I mean, so it's not. I mean, it's very much for tourists. Like, oh, let's see all of California at once. Look, here's the boardwalk, and here. I mean, and it's okay.
It's okay.
I'm not saying it's bad. It's just that I'm like,
well, it's definitely for the tourists because nobody really wants to experience the bad parts.
It's
of California.
not. Yeah, it's not the. It's Californians don't go to California land just for the atmosphere.
Exactly. I can go to LA and get a taco.
Californians go to California land for the booze to drink into Disneyland.
Honestly, for Disney California, if you want to be able to drink booze in a Disney-related theme park,
that's where you do it.
That's where the adventure happens.
That's how they increase those ticket sales on that side.
Definitely. But I'm glad they're expanding. They're showing more diverseness because everybody's been wanting that. Because in Disneyland portion, Innoventions, they thought that was going to be the Marvel-related things. But they did have some stuff.
Yeah, there's some stuff there.
I don't know what's going to be their final thing because even that's kind of shut down because they literally moved all the Marvel stuff to California Adventure.
Yeah, that was their test, and then they're going to the full market of like, oh, we're going to redo this entire section. There's plenty of spaces around that adventure of the Galaxy Guard ride, Guardians of the Galaxy ride, that are just okay. Like, you have that entire section of like the Aladdin Theater, which is like, I'm like, okay, that could be a whole thing. Yeah. I mean, that's a ton of space that you're just using for a theater, basically. Yeah. And you're not charging tickets for it.
Right now it's frozen.
Yeah, so I'm like, it's fine. And you have all those spaces next to that are just okay. There's nothing wrong with them. It's just like they're not being utilized to their full potential, in my opinion.
So Disney's taking the approach. Let's just shut that fucker down.
And build something. Maximize revenue, folks. Yeah. This is a thing. Let's make some money off of it.
So speaking of course, things shutting down, change for the better. Star Wars Land.
Yes, they're cutting down an entire piece. Disneyland revealed at D23 the model for the upcoming Star Wars Land. It's a spaceport-like architecture reminiscent of the Mos Eisley on Tatooine, except that it's in a forest, mountain landscape kind of thing. We'll toss up a video in the video version of the podcast, so you guys should definitely watch the show if you want to see it.
And the model is ginormous.
It is big.
I not personally have been. I checked out the model, yes. But my friend actually recently just put a video of they just opened up the area where will be eventually the opening to Star Wars Land. And it's kind of funny because you had to go through, it's going to be between Frontierland, so you got the Western stuff, and then next between Frontierland and Fantasyland, where you got like the castle and Dumbo's Wild Ride and stuff. And the little gap in there is going to lead you just straight into Star Wars Land.
Now, is the one we're looking at now going to be in Disney Florida, or is it going to be in Disney California?
Both.
I've seen the one in California has to be a smaller version then.
Oh, of course.
Because they just wanted the land in Anaheim to do something this massive. I would say that this is definitely Florida cheap land stuff.
Oh yeah, they definitely have, especially Florida, they definitely got all the land to do all the craziness on their part. But there was, especially California being limited to the space that they do have, they are working with what they got, but they are going to go big scale. I already seen like the rock formations. My wife will actually be going back to Disney, getting the annual pass, so she'll fill me in with some of the insider stuff that's going on there. I might go there maybe once in a blue moon.
Just to see it when it's done.
To see it, because I myself is I'm gonna wait till it's done. As much as I would just like to peek over the wall and look at the little knot holes to see what's going on there. There's actually a parking structure where you actually get an overhead view, and people have posted pictures on it. There's already frames of at least 2 AT-ATs that are going to be constructed. So who knows how it's going to be? Maybe, hopefully, I would love, and I think other people would love, a somewhat life-size scale, if not even at least partial, of the Millennium Falcon.
That would be cool to walk through, yeah. I don't see why not. I mean, it's an iconic thing. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Kevin Smith cried when he saw it.
Oh yeah.
Why not the rest of us?
Yeah. So it's going to be awesome. Everybody's going to check it out. My thing is, of course, being a theme park. Let's see what other theme related things. Because the only part that's going to be questionable, the Star Wars Star Tours is still going to be on the other side in Tomorrowland. So I really doubt they're going to shut that thing down to bring it over. It's just weird to me that
they're disconnected a little bit.
Yeah, because it's still technically sci-fi. So you think it would
They
be
might move
Tomorrowland.
like something like the Buzz Lightyear thing instead, like make that into something.
That or
Although that is one of their more popular rides.
I thought honestly they were going to shut down Autopia. That was one of the rumors that get those
Could be.
little go-karts and
Turn them into
that
speed
Star Wars.
racers instead.
Oh, yeah, little pod racers. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that would be awesome.
That would be fun. Okay, more stuff from D23 again. Long.
Yeah.
There's just a ton of stuff. Disney and Pixar reveal their slate of new animated films, starting with Disney's Coco, November 22nd of this year. So it's coming at the same time as Thor Ragnarok, about 20 days after that.
Mm-hmm.
And this is very Hispanic oriented. Young Miguel has a dream of being a musician. His family doesn't like it for some reason. And when he starts to play, he's transported to the land of the undead, which might explain why his family didn't like him playing music. Who knows? But that's the theme. Very cool animated looking stuff. Almost reminds me of claymation work, except that of course it's CGI animated. Very nice stuff. Now, on the June 25th of 2018, skipping all the way to next year, folks, Incredibles 2 coming out. No themes from it, no news about what it's going to be about, but that is the release date. Wreck-It Ralph 2, November 21st, 2018. Ralph and Vanellope leave the arcade for the larger universe connected to the internet. That's all we know. Sorry, folks. There was a presentation where all the Disney's princesses were in the same stage at the same time for this announcement, which would include Penelope, but it was doing like the Wreck-It Ralph presentation. So all the voices of any princess that's alive, that person was there.
Okay.
So that's what I don't know if they're going to show in the film or not, but there you go. Apparently Penelope is a princess. Vanellope, I should say. Mm-hmm. Okay, Toy Story 4, June 21st, 2019. Yep, that's a long way away. Animation films take a long time, folks. It is Toy Story 4, screenplay written by Rashida Jones, daughter of another Jones. Can you remember his name?
Mike Jones?
No, he's a real famous musician. I can't remember
Time
his name.
Jones?
No, I'm not sure know if his name is Jones. But anyways, Rashida Jones. Buzz and Woody go out into the world to find Bo. It's been described as a love story. So you look up who Rashida Jones' dad is. I remember he's actually really famous. Frozen 2 open out November 27th, 2019. And Gigantic, November 25th, 2020. Almost nothing was said about that one, but there you go. Okay, there were also some things that happened from Disney movies and Marvel movies specifically. It is A Wrinkle in Time. They showed that trailer. We're going to have it in our trailers of the week, so you don't have to worry about watching it. Quincy Jones. See, told you. A famous Jones. Yeah, he's famous.
It's
Quincy.
gotta be popular.
Yeah. And then Emily Blunt showed up on stage as well for the Mary Poppins Returns movie. They didn't show a trailer, but they did talk about, like the director and some of the actors just talked about the movie and what they wanted to do with it. Jon Favreau showed some new CGI Lion King stuff. Remember, his version of that movie is going to be live action. And so they have to work in CGI, live action, animal stuff, like the Jungle Book. It's curious to see what it's going to be like, but he showed some off at D23. Mm-hmm. Also, there's a surprise trailer for Avengers Infinity War, which we're going to describe in a minute. And then there was behind-the-scenes reel of The Last Jedi, which you can watch on the internet right now.
Yeah.
That is
actually
actually, that's live.
Because, the nostalgia
Lots of,
scene
yeah.
is the Princess Leia.
Yeah, a lot of Carrie Fisher goofing around in her costume in the movie because remember she completed her filming for the next Star Wars film, and so they have a bunch of extra footage of just goofing around as happens to show up, and it brought the house down, and also Luke Skywalker was inducted into the Disney Hall of Fame, so that was another thing that happened there. Okay, but on to the really exciting thing, which was the Avengers Infinity War. There's a poster that came out exclusively for the D23 with Thanos and the Infinity Gauntlet with all the gems, which we're not sure how he's getting at. It says a release date of May the 4th, 2018, so not about a year from now. And there was an actual teaser trailer that was shown, and the crowd went completely wild and bonkers. Nobody's leaked it yet. We're crossing our fingers, folks. They are saying they're going to throw it out before Thor Ragnarok anyways, so you only have until November to wait for it otherwise. I know it sucks. But the people who came out of it described what it was, and we're going to have Edgar read it for you.
Okay. Infinity War trailer description. We saw an unconscious Thor, Mr. Hemsworth, smash into the windscreen of the Guardians of the Galaxy ship wearing his Ragnarok garb. Mantis, played by Palm Kelmantis, magically wakes him up, and Thor shouts, "Who the hell are you guys?" In another scene, we see Loki, played by Tom Hiddleston, with the Tesseract and his typically evil smile. Next, in New York, there's where Peter Parker's arm hairs are standing on end as he rode a school bus. We also spotted Spider-Man perching on what looked like a broken roller coaster, and Thanos wearing an Infinity Gauntlet, punching poor Iron Man in the face. This film is set to be released on May 4th, 2018.
Yeah, I am imagining all these things, and I'm getting goosebumps. I'm like, oh, you get to finally see Peter Parker's Spider-Man's Spidey sense come out, because that was not a part of the Spider-Man Homecoming, because he's very suit-oriented in that particular film. So maybe that's something he develops in the Spider-Man Infinity Wars universe. But it's just such a huge cast of characters. I'm like, how long is the movie? And is each character only getting like 3 seconds in it?
Yeah, I'm hearing a bunch of other rumors, at least from some people's description. There was something about Thanos throwing a planet. I don't know if you caught that anywhere in the
I
rumor
don't
mill.
think I caught that anywhere.
Yeah, so I'm just going by rumor, because unless I could verify that for sure, then nothing. But they did
Most
show
of
the
these
actor,
scenes all make sense, though.
Yeah, but they did show a picture of the actor that plays Thor plays Thanos in front of those statues that we were talking about earlier, the life size of his kids, holding up the gauntlet he wears in the movie, and it's ginormous and it's awesome, and it's like, just
yes, and
geekwood. Just
there
hard.
are. I mean, there's a million questions we can ask, but for the fact that Loki still has the Tesseract, which is an Infinity Stone.
Yeah.
But in the movie poster, we have Thanos with that Infinity Stone in his gauntlet. So I think part of this movie might be Thanos getting the Infinity Stones for his empty gauntlet at this point, because he'd have to essentially take them from each one of these heroes.
Yeah, because I think there's still, 1 or 2 stones left.
I want to say there's. I want to say one. Yeah, I think there's might be one, or I know there's at least one. There's only 1 or 2. I mean, we have Doctor Strange and his Eye of.
Odin.
No.
But the Eye of
Eye of Agamotto.
There you go.
Then we have the Tesseract, which is 2.
The cube.
We have
Loki stick.
Vision himself, like he has the stone that lets him phase through matter. That's 3.
The Loki Pokey stick.
No, is that the Tesseract?
Well, that was the one that I think got
the
opened up and put into Vision's head, right?
I don't recall. I don't know if that's the same thing or not. There's the Loki Pokey stick, but that's the one I was thinking about. I don't know if the Tesseract is a different piece of technology, though. Yeah. But there is the Loki Pokey stick, which was what I was thinking of.
Then, of course, the Guardians of the Galaxy, the one that was...
Oh, the purple one. Yeah. The purple thing of death, I guess. I don't want to call it. That's 4. And there should be 6. So, can you think of anything else?
Once again, I think that might be what's going to be in
Ragnarok. So there's 5 and 6.
So that one's going to be the main backhand one, and you'll have the whole complete.
There we go. Okay, so there you go, folks. That's the stuff, though. It sounds like a cool trailer. Can't wait to watch it. Okay, more stuff from Disney D23. We have the cast reveal for the live-action Aladdin. They were having a hard time finding some actors for this, apparently. But they got the folks. It's going to be Mena Massoud for Aladdin, Naomi Scott for Jasmine, and Will Smith as the genie.
So about a lot of mixed reviews on that, because obviously, perfect world, Robin Williams.
Yes,
but
he's not around.
Exactly. So we'll see his take on it, because I
remember live action. They tend to go more organically ethnic. Basically, you remember Aladdin set in Arabia. I don't think they would have gone with Robin Williams anyways for the genie, because he's not ethnically accurate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
Otherwise, it would have been, another white guy with amazing superpowers. Great job, Disney.
I don't know if it counts if he's going to be all blue, though.
I don't know if they would have made him blue. I don't think they're going to paint Robin Williams blue.
Or Will Smith.
Will Smith blue. But yeah.
If they do, cool. If they don't,
I don't think they're going to.
No,
it's not necessary at all.
That's the money maker.
Yeah, you're paying for Will Smith's face.
Yeah, because that's how what do you call it?
It's like that's like paying for Will Smith putting in like a CGI costume, or like that doesn't make sense.
That's what Suicide Squad. That's why he put the mask up a couple times, but
it was mostly
what made the money.
Yes, because that's what people were paying for.
Exactly.
That's what you're paying Will Smith bucks for. Like I don't think he cares.
Yeah.
If you put him in a mask or a green screen suit, it's like, but why waste it?
In my mind, I'm picturing Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, funny young Will Smith. You're not gonna get serious grown-up dad Smith.
I'm hoping they're gonna keep the same lighthearted, fun Genie.
Yeah.
I don't know how. He is an older man though. I don't know if he can still exude that level of energy the entire film.
Cocaine helps.
Yeah, that's why they might just like slip him some before in coffee every single morning.
Here you go, drink this monster.
Drink
this other monster. And
no
more just.
You never had a friend like me.
Cocaine
says cocaine. Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I think it's going to be entertaining. Obviously, if anything,
that girl though is from Power Rangers.
Oh, okay.
So that's where she's from. Yeah. That dude, no idea.
Yeah. If anything, they're going to use obviously all the basic music from the animated series, and if they do anything like Beauty and the Beast, the live action version, they're going to take a couple of the Broadway songs and throw them in there.
I think they need to actually do their own original songs for them to be considered for like awards, because the Beauty and the Beast movie had original songs in there. They didn't just have the movie stuff or the Broadway stuff. They actually had to have original new music to be considered for the category for like best sound production or best musical score, whatever it is. So Aladdin, if they wanted to get within those awards, which who doesn't? You're putting money in there anyways. To be considered for like any category of like film or whatever, instead of just like a new edition of it, you have to have actual new songs.
Yeah,
whether they usually suck though.
I'm gonna love hearing Whole New World. I'm gonna love hearing Friend Like Me. But the one song that they kind of it was unreleased for the movie.
My boy song? The one from
Proud of Your Boy.
Proud of Your Boy. Yeah,
I love that song. It like made me sure to tear a couple times. So I love that song. They've been performed on Broadway every once in a while.
Mom, proud of your boy.
Similar.
Something like that. Yeah, I remember it.
It's been covered by a couple artists. Clayton did an awesome rendition of it, and once again, Broadway has covered it, and I'm like, oh my god, it's not beautiful.
It's not my favorite song. I'm a big fan of the Street Urchin song where he's running through the streets.
One step
ahead of the man. Yeah, one jump ahead of my doom. I'm glad gotta use a non-deplume. Dun, 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 dun.
Exactly. Jazz hands.
Yeah, and I learned the Whole New World song. That's one of the first songs I learned when I was trying to learn to play piano as a teenager. So I'm like, that's definitely a favorite for me.
Yeah, I was a geek.
Bum 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 bum.
Oh yeah.
I can show you the world.
Oh yeah.
Yep. There you
and
go.
Of course, I want to see what. Obviously, in this case, Will Smith's version of "Friend Like Me" is gonna go down like.
You think it's gonna be a rap version? I wouldn't mind. I mean,
honestly,
I can see him pulling like a whole music video from this entire production.
Slightly twisted a la Fresh Prince style, and the whole DJ.
Yeah, might be a thing.
I think it's gonna happen.
Why not? I mean,
if Jazzy Jeff comes out, him being the DJ.
They actually did. This was a few years ago, but they did when Will Smith was doing some press release for some movie, he appeared on an English show called the Graham Norton Show.
Yes, I remember that.
And Jazzy Jeff, Will Smith, and Alfonso, what's his name, all showed up and did the theme to the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which was very funny. So there you go. Okay, that's it for our D23 stuff. It's been a long show just because of that.
It's still happening.
There's still plenty of stuff. We'll tell you more next week if anything really cool shows up. But we're going to move on to our movie trailer showdown. No music, sorry. We have 4 trailers that came in this week. Only one wins. Here we go. We're going to start off with the Tick live action trailer. This is an Amazon show that was picked up by Amazon, so they're doing their own thing. But it's different than the animated version, and it's very different from the old Fox live action version.
Yeah, the big rubber suit.
It's super grown up, and it's very violent, and it's kind of dark, which is cool to me. So I liked it. So that's one of our trailers.
Dark,
almost Batman dark in some ways. Like people die, like people are murdered, and there's still a very funny comedic aspect to it. But there's also like that dark portion of it, which is very genuine to the comic. So I like it. Then we have Full Metal Alchemist trailer. That was kind of cool. You got to see some cool bad guys in there, in addition to the blonde Asian guy who's playing Alfred Elric, one of the Elric sons. You also get to see the guy in the suit, of course, but it is weird. It's I'm gonna say weird because they're not like whitening up, but it's weird that it's a blonde Asian guy.
They exist.
They do exist, but he does stand out, I have to say. And they also turned one of the other characters from a blonde white girl into an Asian girl, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. I guess.
Exists too.
Well, yeah, part of this film is this whole series is not set in Asia. Mm-hmm. It's set in like a alternate version of Europe.
Yeah.
So that's why there are blonde white people everywhere, and dark haired white people. So in this particular instance, they are Asian washing it, I guess you could say. But if you go to the source, like all the characters were very white because it's centered around like European cultures and their thirst for domination at any cost, and it was kind of that kind of tale of them delving into forbidden magic to gain power, and that's part of the theme. And so there are Asian people who come in later on. They're like people from the Far East who are mystical, who also have alchemy, but they've learned the balance, that kind of stuff.
The Force.
Yeah. So that's part of the thing. I do think it's just a very interesting casting.
Jedi.
I don't have an issue with it because it's made in Asia. So who do you think they're going to use?
Full Metal Alchemist Jedi.
Yeah. Okay. The third trailer is going to be A Wrinkle in Time, which is the one that they showed at D23. It has Oprah Winfrey. It has Curie. What's her name? The girl from the Mini Project, Minnie Curie, I think. I don't remember her real name is. I call her Minnie Curie because that's what she's called in that show. Yeah. And they also have I can't remember her name. So a few other famous people, including the guy from Star Trek, Captain Kirk, the new Star Trek.
Okay.
He's the dad. And they have a bunch of like adults who are famous. The kids, though, are supposed to be the heroes. This is very much one of those childhood stories where the children are sent to a different universe. It's kind of along the same time period that The Land in Which the Wardrobe came out, except this is very much more science fiction stuff, where they're traveling to parallel dimensions through space-time rips. But it's also kind of magicked up to be a little more palatable for children without to explain, deep theories of science. But it's very much based in that kind of concept where if you have a malleable world, what would you do with it? And that's what the bad guy does. Yeah. He creates this world where everything's the same, where everything's safe, everything's, and it's a reflection of the time period of like the 50s and 60s where everyone had cookie cutter homes, and conformity was the name of the game. And so it's also a reflection of the time period that in which it was written. And this movie we're watching part of it now. Yeah. It's kind of cool, but there's also very much a scientific darkness to it. So there's some cool stuff. Reese Witherspoon, that's the other. They're like three sisters who help the kids out to find their dad. Yeah. So there you go. But it's cool. It's nice. Okay. And then, last but not least, we have Kingdom Hearts 3. The trailer for that. This guy is excited about it. Man. I don't think I have to question what trailer he liked the best.
Honestly, you'd be surprised.
But they finally showed at D23 when Kingdom Hearts 3 is coming out, which is going to be 2018, if I recall correctly, at the end of the movie. There's this weird thing in front where there's a bunch of words coming through, which was distracting as all heck.
Like, do I read or do I just look at the picture?
Yeah, because I know they're trying to say something, and they do. And then they switch into the Kingdom Hearts characters, Goofy and Donald, jumping into Toy Story World as toys. Yeah. So I thought that was kind of cool.
If you look at them, they're very blockish.
Yeah, they're geometric.
See the joints.
Yeah, they're geometric. They look like Lego people. Basically, that's the treatment they gave them instead of making them more like toy figures, like the other characters. They decided to go with like a geometric, like Lego look, which is a choice. That's a style choice. Yeah. But then, of course, they help out the Toy Story characters, and you jump through a bunch of gameplay mechanics and new weapons and toys, and them going through Andy's world, like fighting other bad guys in toy form, basically. And it's really cool, including like a mecha scene at the very end of the trailer. And of course, you have looks at your bad guys, and at the very end they show, I think, when it's coming out. So there you go. Those are our 4 trailers, coming 2018. That's all they say. Yeah. So 4 trailers, folks. Edgar, which one was your favorite?
Honestly, I'm gonna go with Full Metal.
Really, Full Metal Alchemist. I kind of like it for the villains that you finally get to see. You get to see greed, lust, and gluttony. So you get to see a bunch of cool characters. They are kind of giving me which version of this they're doing. She says, "You've already killed me once," and she does her finger thing, which says like, "Oh, that's Full Metal 1, not Brotherhood," because in Brotherhood it's not their mother. Spoilers. Yeah. So there you go. There's the thing. Okay, for me, I'm gonna have to go with Kingdom Hearts. I actually like
Really?
it. Yeah, yeah. I'm not planning to buy the game,
No.
but I thought it was cool. And I know this guy's been waiting for like
Oh,
a
everybody's
decade, like
been
a
waiting.
decade, to see
Beyond.
something about this.
Oh yeah.
The tick was cool. I've already seen the first episode, so I know it's awesome. Fullmetal Alchemist. There wasn't so much new stuff that I was excited about it. I mean, it was cool, but it wasn't like super. There were like literally a few scenes.
Yeah.
On Wrinkle in Time, I liked the movie as a kid. I'm hoping they're not gonna screw it up. Maybe I'll watch it with like some niece or nephew. I don't know, but it's not something that I'm probably gonna watch by myself.
Yeah.
But Kingdom Hearts 3 is definitely a game I probably play with this dude. Probably not by myself, but definitely I know he's excited about it. So I thought, okay, it looked cool to me, and I was happy to see that the Toy Story characters were definitely nice. Like,
'Cause that was
this is the Japanese version, so
Yeah.
you don't get Tom Hanks talking, but
Yeah.
we'll see them eventually.
That was the big debate, because especially since the licensing issue, they didn't know who they were going to introduce into the not Toy Story, but the Kingdom Hearts, because they have obviously the legal rights to
Yep.
Star Wars and Marvel. They could have did a whole thing on those worlds, but they decided to go with Pixar.
No, and I don't know that Disney owns Pixar, do they?
It's
I know it's a joint production,
Exactly.
but I'm not sure if they actually own them. I don't know if they don't either, because they have a whole slate of films they
Yeah.
showed. So I mean, they're very much in cahoots at this point.
oh yeah. They worked something out, but I'm definitely gonna check it out. It's gonna be awesome. So much entertainment happening. D23, like I said, once again, it's still happening right now. So eventually, once it does its final end, of course, next podcast we'll cover all the stuff that we haven't covered for Sunday, because there's all these other informations released. We're still waiting to find out more about any possible other trailers that they haven't talked about, that haven't released. Because other than the teaser, they haven't talked anything about Captain Marvel.
No, although they did show her at the panel with the full Infinity Wars cast, she was there.
Yeah.
So, and
There we are.
Didn't mean to show you that much of the background, guys.
So there's gonna be there's so much stuff happening right now.
But yeah, as far as
and-
the movie trailers of the Showdown go, I'm going to say Full Metal won then. So
Yeah.
there you go, folks. There you go. That's it for the show. We're done. We're complete. Thank you for hanging out with us and watching us geek out about the things that we enjoy learning about and watching about this week. We'll talk to you next week, folks. If you want to support the podcast in any way, shape, or form, you can do so at
geekbytespodcast.com/support.
There you go. For Geek Bytes Podcast, I am Ramon Mejia.
I'm Edgardo Acosta.
And remember, folks, to go geek out about something.